briefly, I'm talking about this framework that has helped me over time in the work that I do to be able to exchange value. And I consider communication to be one of those core things that is critical in any profession. Now, picture this. I would like to give a simple scenario. Just picture this, that you have something that is very valuable, but only you know that is valuable. And you have 100 people. You have been given the opportunity to convince, to inspire, to educate, to inform 100 people sitting in the same room with you, and you have just 10 minutes to inspire them and to persuade them and to inform them, to educate them, to believe in that value. And these 100 people have the ability to buy this value from you and give you the financial freedom that you need for the rest of your life. The biggest weapon that you have to achieve this is communication. Will you seal that deal or not? Now, and this is what happens to everybody. I always fondly say that no matter how good you are, no matter how excellent you are, if people don't understand what you have to give them, you will die a very talented poor man. You will die a very skillful poor person. There are many skillful people, but they don't have the ability to cash out from their skill. And that is why I so much admire the conversations that we have been having in training and educating ourselves on the power of this soft asset known as communication. And the concept of value exchange in communication, I like to break it down into 5 key points. Then I will share the framework. Number 1, it's about mutual benefit. When you're talking about value exchange and you're leveraging on communication, it is about mutual benefit. Both the parties gain something of value through that exchange with the help of communication. You have the value and your client needs your value and you need your client's money. For some people, they also need the impact that their client will experience. There is mutual benefit. So you need to always understand that if you are going to succeed in that communication, when it comes to value exchange, you must think about mutual benefit. Number 2, perceived worth. When talking about communication and value exchange, perceived worth is very, very important in that process, because value is determined by the perception of that party, the perception of the party that you are communicating to. The next thing which is important and which is a whole training on its own is negotiation. In the midst of communication, your ability to discuss and bargain and establish the terms of exchange using communication is critical for you to exchange your value and be impactful at the same time. And the 4th thing I will talk about is the transactional nature in that case. Your ability to efficiently communicate your value also depends on the transactional nature at play. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about the ability of giving and receiving either goods, services, and ideas. And this can only happen on the foundation of community, of communication. And lastly, of course, relationship building. When you talk about communication and value exchange, one key component that I have noticed that have come into play over and over is relationship building. Your ability to foster connections and trust between yourself and the client or the person you're talking about. In my work as a business consultant, coach, trainer, and analyst, I have seen this play in different cases and different scenarios. This is so mind-blowing how you will find these happening in different situations. For example, it could be between a startup founder and a potential investor. It could be between corporate executives and corporate clients are looking at getting. It could be between a freelancer and the clients are looking at getting, between governments and subcontractors. I have seen these play in different scenarios, but the game is always the same. And personally, for me, as I have grown to master some of these things, I have seen how powerful this works. But I just feel that I should add separately, before I talk about the framework, the role of communication more specifically. We have seen about the concept of value in communication. Now, but understanding the role of communication and value exchange is also critical. Now, why is this? For example, the number one role here is that communication clarify your offerings. I started by saying that I always fondly say that there are many talented people who will end up dying broke, in quotes, because they have the value, they have the talent, they have the skill, but people don't understand what they have to offer. The challenge here is they don't understand how to clarify their offering. And that's the power of communication. Through communication, you clarify your offering. You clarify what you are offering. You present your offer and the benefit in a way that somebody understands, and the person can even picture how their life will be incomplete without your value. I always say that if you're in business, become so good at communication that when you talk about your value, even if somebody doesn't buy, let them regret not spending their money on you. Because you have so clarified your offering in such a powerful way that all they imagine, oh my God, I wished I bought this service. They are excited to spend their money on you. That's the power of communication. Number two is that it facilitates understanding. When you're good at communication, it facilitates understanding. It ensures that your client, it ensures that the person you're talking with understands the value you're bringing and even understand the expectations at play. And the last thing I'll talk about here is how communication helps you consistently maintain relationship. I spoke about it, but this talks about in business, for example, if you are going to enjoy what they talk about repeat and regular purchase, if you're going to build a sustainable, valuable business, you need to be able to achieve repeat and regular purchase. For example, a company that has been able to do this very well is Apple. There are people that have been using Apple iPhone 5, 6, 7, 8, like for the last 10 years, 5 years, I don't know. They have been able to achieve this through consistently maintaining relationship, right? It puts them in that place where they achieve, get their customers to practice repeat and regular purchase year in, year out. And this is the power of ongoing communication. Why? Because it nurtures that business relationship. It nurtures that professional relationship as far as business is concerned. I'm not going to take too long to round up now. What are the 5 steps? What are the 5 steps to that transformational framework that you can use as far as communication and value exchange is concerned? Number 1 that I've worked over time is be good at storytelling. Find many ways that you can tell your stories. You know, I actually have on my phone, there is a separate notepad where I just type stories. I just type when I'm on the road, I'm in the supermarket, I'm anywhere. When something happens, I just keep it. And my wife knows. I always tell her when something happens between us, oh, I'm writing on my training notes. Someday I will use you and train. And I've used our situations many times on different training platforms in different situations. And it always compels and sends a strong message. It could be between you and your kids, you and your friends, you and your husband, your wife, your colleagues. If something exciting happens, and you understand that you can use this story and communicate a principle. You can use this story and communicate value. Note it down. Keep it. Have a storybook where you note out your story ideas. It's very powerful. So insightful storytelling is one of those frameworks that you can use to communicate your value. Why is this powerful? Transform facts into storytelling, into compelling stories. This will do something powerful. It will emotionally Emotions are very powerful. If you want to bring the emotions of a client into something, tell a story. If you want to help somebody understand a concept, tell a story around it. It is very, very powerful. So you can use a narrative technique. You can use whatever best way of storytelling that fits you or that situation to make it memorable and engaging at the same time. So practice storytelling, keep stories that you can use to accompany your offers or your value or the point you want to communicate in a very powerful way. Number two is empathy. Strategic empathy is very important, which is deeply understand and reflect the needs and the emotions of the audience you're communicating to. You know, there is this popular concept in the startup world known as design thinking. And the core of design thinking is your ability to empathize the pain points of the people you're building that solution for. It's the same in communication. If you are able to understand the audience, able to understand, their needs and their pain points, if possible, where they're coming from and where they're going to, it's going to help you a lot to effectively communicate your value without beating around the bush. My mom always fondly said, go straight to the point, my friend. Stop beating around the bush. Or many a times, I love soccer, so I will go play soccer and come back so late, and she'll be like, hey, go straight to the point, my friend. Stop beating around the bush. My mom likes to say that a lot. Just go straight to the point, right? So when you are able to practice strategic empathy, you are able to deeply understand and reflect on your audience needs and pain points, and you shoot straight to the point. When you're communicating your value and your offer, you hit the nail on the head. And you can employ, it could be research, it could be active listening, it could be just getting closer to your audience, observing them, whatever you can do to understand, do it. Number three is value-based persuasion. This is a very important element in this framework. There's a lot of talk about persuasion, but I have often said that we need to transition into value-based persuasion. And you can also add value-based education, because there are some things that if you persuade somebody, they will not buy it. But if you value educate them, they will end up buying it. They will end up understanding you. So the power here is shift from features to value. Many times, some people just talk about features. I've had the privilege over time to work with tech guys, technology people. I have co-founded a tech company. So my engineer people, when they're talking about the product we are building, they're talking about the language, the technology, all this big stuff. I'm like, clients don't care about all of this back end stuff they're talking about. Come on, stop listing the benefits of the language you're using. Let's talk about the value that customers will get from this. So many people sometimes talk about the benefit, but many times people don't really understand that. If you're able to tailor the value to their pain points, is very important. So value-based education or value-based persuasion can play a very big role in how you communicate the value that you have as a person. So use persuasive techniques that highlight the value that you have over the benefits, aligning with the audience core values, their goals, and their aspirations. And this is very important. There is power in understanding the aspirations of your people, of the people you're serving. Where do they want to go? And how can your value help them get there? You now communicate from that perspective. Number four is adaptive communication. This is very important. A lot of things can change. I like to say that since Jesus Christ came and went back to heaven, we are in the fastest dispensation ever in the history of humanity. A lot of things are changing so fast at a very, very rapid rate. You can literally wake up tomorrow and a 17-year-old will disrupt your whole industry with a single app. A lot is changing at a very fast pace. You can wake up tomorrow and your government announces a new policy and it changes your business forever. We woke up in 2020 and COVID-19 from nowhere changed the way we work and live. Anything can literally just happen and change everything. This is the power of adaptive communication. Don't be static in how you communicate. Change with time. And with us meeting new people every day from different races and religion and backgrounds and different generations, basically, we need to grow in how we adapt in our way of communication. In simple terms, dynamically adjust your communication style based on real-time feedback. Don't be static. Don't be like those people who say, as it used to be, so shall it continue to be. Your business will die. Your business will just go out of hand, right? Let us grow in how we learn and adapt, especially when it comes to real-time feedback and audience engagement. These two are very important in adaptive communication. So train yourself. Learn new ways if you can. Learn new words if you can. Learn new languages if you can. Learn new ways if that you can use to just send something that can spark somebody. For example, what I like to do with my wife is I like to find better thank God, Google Translate. I find better new ways to tell her I love her. So when I send her I love her in Spanish or in Portuguese or in a local language from Africa, she's like, what does that mean? I will not translate. It means this. And she'll be so excited about that. So it makes it more fun and more creative. So you can be more adaptive in how you do that. It's going to position you in a way that people just enjoy how you are communicating with them and how your value means to them. And lastly, number 5, one of my favorites, collaborative co-creation. Collaborative co-creation. In simple terms, involve the audience in shaping the value exchange, making it a collaborative process. Involve them in the process. I briefly spoke about design thinking. Learn how to involve them in the process. Use interactive ways that you can involve your audience in the process is very powerful. If you have if it is possible, you can organize brainstorming sessions and have them involved. Many large companies do this in the way of focus groups. For example, Apple does this a lot. Before they launch iPhone 16 or iPhone 15 or whatever, there is a focus group that uses those phones for a couple of months before they are finally announced. That is collaborative co-creation. It helps in how they communicate the value that they have created. So find better ways to practice collaborative co-creation. Get a small group of people if you can, and just involve them in the process before you fully announce that. You know, there is one framework I talk about in the startup ecosystem, which before your big vision, the ideation, the prototype, and all of that, before you do mass commercialization, always practice collaborative co-creation in a small way. Many people have launched the wrong companies because they had a big vision, they turned into an idea, they prototype, and they mass commercialize, and it failed. But when you practice collaborative co-creation, it helps you to understand the value and how to exchange that value and which communication channels and styles to use to exchange that value in a way people will understand. You will launch the right way and you will end up succeeding. So find better ways to co-create solutions with your audience, because you will not miscommunicate. You will definitely hit the nail on the head. You will not beat around the bush. You will come straight, and you will definitely be able to serve your people. So that is it from my end. Thank you so much. I do a lot of these trainings on my YouTube channel. You can just type Dr. Javnyuy Joybert, and I do have a newsletter. I think I will share the link in the chat box where you can join. I always share a lot of these business ideas about 3 times a week on my newsletter. And thank you so much, sir, for inviting me. And thank you to the other speakers for sharing your ideas and your thoughts. I did learn a couple of new ideas.
Thank you so much for the sharing. That is the spark of value here. I appreciate it. I really do. And of course, I thank all of you for the sharing. You see, I sort of feel very proud of these things that we are doing. I understand that there is value here. There is something important about what we are doing. Now, let me quickly share something with you before we move into the Q&A. So, sometime when I came to Italy, I started to find out more about the people of African descent in northern Italy, which is where I live. I live in a city called Verona. So, I started to interview different people. What I collected from them, of course, I wrote a book about it. I created a documentary because I felt it was important to tell the story of these people. Of course, I saw them as a kind of pioneer for me, looking at me, which is far away from, because I came from Nigeria, I'm in Italy, it's completely a different world. So I wanted to sort of understand what is going on here. So I started to talk to different people who have been here, some of them for like 40 years before I came. And it was really, really highly valuable, the information I gathered from them. One of the things, because I would do the research for a couple of years, called the Journey African Sea Verona, was that apart from the complaint that I was hearing from people, I understand that there were also a lot of value within the community. The value I saw was that we could actually share what we know among ourselves, then many people will come to know more. In that case, we will have less to blame on other people because now we would have been able to do more for ourselves. So this is where the idea actually came from that will lead to the Obehi podcast that I'm doing today, that will lead to our training platform where we teach people about storytelling and about starting their own businesses. It came from that idea that among us, there are people that are highly valuable. So last year, for example, in A classes, which is our business platform, I started to experiment on co-creation or collaboration because the idea of collaboration has really been at the centerpiece of what I do for a very long time. In that, I said to a client a couple of days ago, I know that I don't know everything, but I believe that if we work together, we'll be able to go to more places. So last year, we decided to start bringing in different people to talk, to see what we can do together. Let's create something together. In fact, that is where this webinar actually came from. That one of the person that I contacted to create a course together shared with me, why don't we do a webinar? Up until that point, I never did any webinar. I've been hearing of it before. I said, that is a good idea. Let's give it a try. We give it a try, and today we are doing it, and we are doing it every month. I can see that there is value in it, and I can see that there is value in collaboration. So like you, Joybert, and of course also Latasha said it, and I think the other two who spoke make mention of this co-working, this working together, this building together. Because in business, we are all working together. We all need each other. Maybe I might be good in just designing something. I might not be very good in communicating what I've designed to other people. Or maybe you are very good in communicating that, but you don't know how to put the right pictures in it. So I'm beginning to see that there is power if we can work together among us. Because the eyes cannot smell. The eye can only see. But the eye needs the nose. And the nose and the eyes, they both need the mouth. And they all need the legs and the hands too. Each of them are doing different things in the body. And the body as the machine need all of this to be able to function properly. So as all of you are talking, I am beginning to see the reality of this idea that we can indeed and effectively work together. So I want to thank all of you for the contribution, for the time, for your expertise. This is really, really making me very happy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. For Joybert, I've got a question for you because I think what you were saying also make a lot of sense to me and also very vital, especially when you were talking of clarifying your offer. In that when your communication is not clear, people don't know how they can benefit from you. Let's put it this way. Because if they don't know how they will benefit from you, then there is no need doing business with you, because why would they want to waste their time? So the question therefore is, from your experience, from what you do in communication, what could be maybe the three best ways to clarify your offer through effective communication? I'm asking that because there are some businesses that are listening to you, business owners that are listening to you, and they are trying to see how they can apply your teaching in their business so that they can become better. And that is essentially why we are here. We are recording this room so that it can be useful to people that are probably not here right now. So what are the 3 best ways to clarify your offer in your business? Please share with us.
There are a couple of ways, and I would like to add that these ways will depend on the type of business that you run. So I would like to bring us back to the place of certain mindsets to have. For example, problem-solving mindset is very important in clarifying offers and communication. And it is in the sense that we need to be good at identifying the problems and the pain points that people are going through and understanding how you can craft out your value and your offer in a way that when somebody who is going through that problem, which your offer is intended to solve, they will understand. It's very important. Number 2 is being able to have clarity. Having clarity in the way that we think, in the way we process things, in the way we also communicate what we have processed is very important. And this is something that cuts across all forms of businesses. That clarity will help you. Many people are not able to make the best out of the value they already have because they are everywhere and nowhere at the same time. So that clarity is not there to understand who am I serving and with what offer am I serving these people and how will I serve these people. It's very critical. The third thing is be willing to learn, have a learning mindset, be willing to learn in the process. There are few people, maybe I should say there is nobody who starts an offer or a first solution at first time and gets it right. But being able to learn on the job, concurrently learn in the process and begin to tweak and improve and adjust is very important. Based on, in this dispensation right now, it is much easier to track how people are reacting to the value that you have communicated publicly. It could be through comments on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn or any other platform you're using. It could even be through the kind of feedback, the level of feedback or the frequency of the feedback you are getting after you have pushed out the offer into your community. For example, if you already have a community of, let's say, a newsletter readers in your community or Slack community or WhatsApp community or Telegram, you know the size of your community, you know, for example, the kind of value they would like to consume from you. And if you share this value to the community, the rate of feedback that you get or the rate of reactions that you get should actually start sending you a message. This is actually one of the major things that we use a lot in our training offers and consulting offers. We have community of people, followers, and newsletters, and the community combined is almost 50,000 people. And if we launch a training, we launch a coaching offer, a training offer, and the rate of people that react or ask for feedback or pay for the service or just there's a form of reaction, the rate at which they react should send us a message. Maybe the headline was not good. Maybe the way the offer was designed is not good. We start using that. We actually have a framework, 24 hours framework, 3 days framework, 5 days framework, and 7 days framework. And in this framework, numbers are attached to each framework. Okay, in 24 hours, this number of people should be able to sign up between this number and this number. In 2 days, this number should be able to sign up. And if we are not achieving that matrix, the first thing we do is we start going back. How did we communicate the offer? Was the offer clear enough? Was the channel the best one? Was it structured in a way that people understand the solution and the pain points they're going through? So having this learning mindset and being on the go in the process, I think is one of the most important things to know and to consistently do. And that's why I spoke about adaptive communication, because you need to be on the go in that process to begin to adjust and launch back and communicate concurrently to be able to, get your offer to the place where it should be.
Thank you so much for that. That was important to add more to that. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you.
Enormous instantaneous.